Good evening all. Welcome. Yeah, I just thought we'd have a nice casual Sunday stream. Um, just one of my New Year's revolutions was I needed to I needed to do more live streaming. So I'm gonna try and at least do a bit more live streaming. But I thought I'd start with this. Let's just have a proper casual stream. Why not? Why not, sit here, chill, and, prepare for the Monday that is to come? Ugh. But, Dave W., good morning to you. Good morning, good evening. Good evening. Yeah, evening, as the case may be. Oh, Blue Badger, hello, how are you as well? Tom, or Thomas, shall we say? Good evening to you as well. Ben, has the Barnsley Triangle taken over? Has it become sentient? Not yet. Not yet. Who knows? If I ever get to the point where I make merch, maybe I'm gonna have to make like a Barnsley Triangle. Maybe I'm gonna have to make like a Barnsley Triangle shirt at some point. That will be quite fun. Oh, Jean, good evening to you. Dave Walker, hello to you as well. Tom, who do you think will win, Labour or the Take Back Control Party? Well, well, um, at this point, you might as well say it's just it's going to be Labour. I think. But again, I've said this before. General elections can be weird beasts. So who knows what might happen? There's getting to the general election, and then there's the general election itself. And there's been a lot of people talking about 92. Just remember, Labour were predicted to win the 1992 general election, and that didn't happen. It didn't play out as many people had hoped. So, they're being cautious. I suppose you can say they're being too cautious in some ways. That if that's the strategy they want to go with, they've got that massive poll lead. So, hey, bit difficult to really criticize them. Really, I mean, it's working. The Rusted Dynamo, greetings from South Wales. Greetings to you. Victoria, good evening to you. Yeah, from the Rhubarb Triangle. Yes, living that myself. Very, very good triangle to be in. Very, very good triangle to be in. Did I at least learn what non-tariff barriers are? Your behavior was absolutely embarrassing. Oh, are people still on about that? Honestly, I haven't thought about it. I'm like, okay. Honestly, I really don't care. I really don't care. It's the internet. But I suppose, when I can live in people's brains rent free like that, I suppose. Oh. Yeah, this is it. I wonder what Tory chaos awaits this weekend. That's going to be fun. I thought something might happen this weekend. I am very surprised that there hasn't been any serious moves this weekend. Given that double by-election, given that we are now hearing, well, actually, no. The only thing we actually have heard is that it might be a May election because you've got enough Tory MPs now putting forward to do a runner that, as they've said, we've heard in the rumors that they've got to sort of stem the tide. So we'll see how much those rumors do come about very soon. Yeah, exactly. I will agree with you that it's been very, very quiet, suspiciously so. Um, it's very quiet, but it's just what are they going to do? Maybe there are plans and plots afoot. Who can who can say? Who can say what evil lurks within the heart of the Tory party? Oh, oh, that's this. Can you explain what progressive policies, as you call them, are Labour introducing for the welfare state? Um, to be honest, at the moment, I mean, Angela Rayner's just set out stuff explaining the New Deal for workers, and I think advancing workers' rights and giving workers a lot of rights back is not bad. I mean, it's once again, this is what the thing is. It's not as far as people want to go, but if you can take an inch and you get progress, is that really a bad thing? Because remember in 2019 and in 2018, when Biden was elected, you had the exact same conversations going on about Joe Biden. And Joe Biden has done a lot of advancement in the front of workers' rights. So I keep on saying it. I keep on saying it time and time again. And Andrew Marr agrees with me. Andrew Marr agrees with me. This is why I feel so vindicated just a couple of weeks ago, because Andrew Marr did a video, his weekly video on the New Statesman, where he was like, "Yeah, Labour are going to be sort of very progressive," and I'm like, "I've only been saying that. I don't know how long. I've only been saying that. I don't know for how long." And yet, when someone like Andrew Marr comes out and says that as well, I'm like, I feel a bit vindicated. I really do. But bear in mind, even if we get 40%, even if we get 40%, is that going to be a bad thing? Um, the difference is that Biden has always been pro-union. Keir hasn't. Well, the thing is, it's not Keir, it's Ed Miliband that's been saying this. It's Ed Miliband that's going to be in there at the heart of, the Keir Starmer government. You're going to have him there. Say what you will about Rachel Reeves, but Rachel Reeves, she's one of the very few people. She's one of the very few people that will get it, that gets like the green agenda and sort of the green investment. So, and I know it annoys people that I'm so like positive about my politics, but honestly, that's one of the main things I see about people. It's like, how dare you be so positive about politics? How dare you? Like, oh well. Like I say, I will just keep on being me. I will just keep on being me. And you know what? If that annoys you that I'm so positive, well, deal with it. I, I don't know what else to say. Do you see Trump getting booed while trying to sell the $400 trainers? Yes. 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 I think that has it's a bit difficult to judge the crowd, but I don't think that was a very, should we say, favorable Trump crowd. The problem is that in the actually, let's just look this up. US 2020 results. CNN I'll do. That'll do. There we go. Nope. There we go. That will do. Let me share this. So the big problem, I keep on saying this, but I will keep on hammering it home until people get it. But it is my worry point. It is my worry point. I want Biden to win. I want Trump to lose, but I worry because you see that there. Trump got all those votes in 2020. Now, yes, Biden won, but there's a lot of people, being I don't know what's the best way to call it, like a Biden. Is that better or makes me a bit bigger? There we go. That's better. It's the fact that Trump still got that number of votes in 2020. That's the big one. I think is that or no, actually, is that hang on. Is that the CNN prediction? Size and lead. Battleground. Flip states. Yeah. These were the states that went. It will be interesting to see in this election which way Georgia goes. Because as you can see, for Biden, it was 49.5 to Trump 49.2. That there is going to be in November. Whoever wins that, it's going to depend on turnout. Georgia is going to be decided by how many people get out and vote on that particular day. And if that flips red, Trump not going to win because he really, I think the deciding ones for Trump are going to have to be, I think, Wisconsin and Michigan. If they go red on November, that will be decided. And once again, it will be down to turnout. That is still my biggest worry about this election. Because remember, I've said this before, 2020 election, the biggest turnout in US election history, not just in terms of people turning out to vote, but the biggest turnout for Republicans, biggest turnout for Democrats as well. The 2024 general election will come down to turnout. And I'm quite worried Democrats, or maybe at least some independents, might not turn up. And in some states like Georgia, where it is literally, as you saw, a couple of percentage points in it. going to be, you know, I don't want it to be close because, as you are right, um, Jane, yeah, if Trump gets in, Europe is screwed. Europe is very, very screwed if Trump gets in. Because I don't think he's going to go forward and fulfill that promise to aid to Ukraine. If anything, my biggest worry is this aid package gets through, Trump gets in, and then he decides he's going to use, or at least maybe stop aid to try and force Ukraine to go and negotiate with Russia. That's my biggest worry for Ukraine. And the problem then becomes is you've just sort of rewarded Putin by saying, hey, look, you could potentially attack a NATO member, as we found out from Estonia. In fact, let's have a look at that Estonian intelligence, because I haven't talked about that. I haven't talked about that Estonian intelligence, and I think that's worth discussing. Yeah. NATO. Let's have a look. Here it is. Is this it? Yep, this is it. This I haven't talked about this yet, but I think this is well worth talking about. The fact that this intelligence came out from Estonia. Demeter, the small problem Trump is pushing away the centrists and the corporate Republicans. He can't only win with the MAGA hats. The second state made impossible pressed to just pull out of NATO without the Senate. Again, I am really hopeful. Don't get me wrong. I am really hopeful Trump doesn't win, but I still think it comes down to turnout. Because the thing is with Republicans, they said in 2016 somewhat of the very same similar thing, that these normal Republicans, that they're not going to go out and vote for Trump. But they did. I mean, don't get me wrong, it would be hilarious to see him losing a landslide. It would be absolutely hilarious to see Trump get absolutely landslided here. Like, if that happens, Trump is done. Like he would be generally done, and that would be amazing. But I am still really worried. And I'll tell you now, November is a long time to hold your breath. It's a long time to hold your breath. It's probably even worse for the Ukrainians in that. Pretty Bird, yeah, the chances of Trump winning are not good. Trump is alienating all Democrats, a wide majority of independents, and nearly half of Republicans. Again, that's my hope as well. That's my hope that prediction is coming true, because you're not the only one saying that. I've seen that as well. But remember, in 2016 when he won, some people were saying the very same thing, and then oh my, shocked reaction when Trump won. So, don't get me wrong, touch wood, cross everything. Literally. Across everything, literally. Yeah, I hope so. I very, very much hope so. And then that's also worrying. Project 2025. Project 2025 is terrifying. And the worst thing is, I know we've got this up, but let's get that up as well. Because I did this, did a live stream about this a couple of months ago. Where is it? Here it is, playbook. Here, on Mandate for Leadership, the Conservative Promise. So, first of all, it's the fact that they have. Hang on. Ooh, can I? No, I can't. Boo. Stop showing that. They've got this very, very slick website. First of all, this is it. This is Project 2025. It's all here on a website. And what it's done. Again, all backed by the Heritage Foundation. So they've got a full playbook for the first 180 days about what they're going to do. Pretty much dismantling the administrative state, getting rid of thousands of, American civil servants, trying to replace key people in positions with their own people. So here you can see, you can literally submit to the Heritage Foundation. I want to be in charge of, like, the CIA. Like, I'm not joking. That's what this is here. This is what this is here for. And then the worrying thing comes when you actually read. Just, you can again download it from their website. It's all there. This is it. Mandate for Leadership, the Conservative Promise, Project 2025. It's all here in this document. I think it's like, yeah, 900, almost 900 pages. It's all here in this document. I think it is. Here it is. Yeah. Authors, contributors, Promise to America, forward. Again, taking the reins of government. Yep. So the modern conservative president's task is to limit, control, and direct the executive branch on behalf of the American people. At the core of this goal is the work of the White House and the central personnel agencies. Article 11 of the Constitution of all federal executive power is in a pres ident. There's so much in here which is basically saying, yeah, once we get executive power, we're just going to keep on accumulating that power, put people in the agencies we want, and start doing it. So yeah, the separation of powers amongst the three branches and the separation of powers between the federal government and the states, entitles as a double security. Double security has been greatly compromised over the years, meaning that all that quote liberty has been taken away, and they need to return it around. Wonderful when you can just dress things up like that in liberty. Here we are, chief of staff, about who they're going to elect, why they're so potential. and what they're going to do, senior advisors, and he's all there. They're not shy about any of this. It's all right here. It's just a few clicks, and you can read this 900-page document about the, the fascist takeover of America. So yeah, that's very worrying. And like I say, if they get in, well, like I say, let's just talk about this intelligence that came from Estonia, because I think this is well worth going over. So many reasons. So yeah, Russia is gearing up for decade-long duel with the West, Estonia warns. Intelligence service notes significant rise in Russian military personnel. Russia is gearing up for a potential armed conflict with Western countries within the next decade, Estonia's Foreign Intelligence Service stated in a report published on Tuesday. In the Kremlin's mindset, they are not only fighting the Ukrainians, but their chosen path involves a long-term confrontation with the entire collective West, said Kapu Rosen, head of the Estonian clandestine body. While the chances of a military attack from Russia this year are low, Rosen believes that the future security of Europe and Estonia's border depends on Ukraine's ability to be able to deter aggression with allied support. So, depending on how things go in Ukraine, essentially, now depends on what happens with the next 10 years. I don't know about you, but that's incredibly worrying. Russia hasn't either had the hardware nor the troops for a decade-long armed conflict. They've already all but depleted their non-Muscovy reserves. That's very true. That is very true. But hey, don't put it past Putin to do something crazy, because everyone thought, oh, Putin will never invade Ukraine. Putin will never do that. Super worrying. Considering how badly Russia's done Ukraine, I'm not really that worried. Well, that's true. But like I say, we'll get into this report. I think it mentions it here. So the report notes a very significant rise in military production in Russia, including artillery and armored vehicles. It is enhancing Moscow's ability to continue fighting. This surge could outpace Ukraine's output unless the West escalates artillery production and delivery, Estonian intelligence finds. It's again very true. If you've seen the NATO conference happening this week, the president of Denmark just said one thing she wants to see is that European Western countries, rather than saying, well, these shells are going to go out of date, here you go, Ukraine. Instead, we need to go, here's our stockpile, open those up, and there you go, Ukraine. And start giving them stuff from our stockpile, as well as focusing on rebuilding a lot of that stock. So I am sort of with her on that, but when you get stuff like this that says, well, they've been upping this type of production, you know, again, one of the reasons why we need to win in Ukraine. Otherwise, other countries are going to go, maybe, having the odd nuclear weapon lying about your country is not the worst idea. So, if you are against nuclear proliferation, then yeah, you should be wanting to arm Ukraine and arm them to the teeth. America stuck in the Middle East and Ukraine. Where where is America stuck in Ukraine? They don't really have any troops in the Middle East. America's still got a very large military. Very large military. Um, and yeah, we'll have a look at this after this as well. We'll have a look at the live map after this as well with Adivka. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm probably not. But there you go. Maggie Pie, may Brexit have emboldened Putin to invade Ukraine? No. If anything, what enabled him to do that, I think, was him looking at the current Republican Party, the state of Donald Trump. I think January the 6th had a lot more impact than Brexit itself, but also the US withdrawal from Afghanistan as well. I think that had a lot more impact on his decision making, but also a lot of the reporting at the time was that Putin was terrified of COVID and went into hiding and went into some deep, deep isolation. So, but that's apparently what sent him mad. That's what sent him over the edge. But yeah, I still do think there probably was some Russian interference. I absolutely do think, and of course they're going to be interfering like crazy with any elections. Would not surprise me if we saw something during our own potential elections. AI in particular is something we should be really worried about on that front, and it shocks me that we haven't seen anything done on that front. Anyway, let's continue with this. So, according to the International Institute for Strategic Studies, Russia could maintain its current level of engagement in Ukraine for up to 3 more years, supported by accelerated weapons production. This is one of the things that's worried a lot of people, that Putin's aim seems to be, can we outlast the West? Can we outlast them? Can we, because the military aid to Ukraine has been stalled by 3 months, partly responsible what's happened in Avdiivka, why they've had to withdraw, because they've got, artillery rationing, because they've got almost no shells. They've got shells, but they're conserving them because that flow isn't as secure as it was now from the West. So that obviously helps Putin in many, many ways. But we'll see. This is, I agree. I think who said it? It's shaking the complacency of a lot of Western countries here. I think that has as well. I will agree with that. I think a lot of people have suddenly realized the threat now that that Putin represents. Lou Badger, I reckon he has less than a third of warheads available. About half of the launch systems are mobile and can launch. Yeah, the rest can be moved. I think, in terms of his nuclear weapon stop, and bear in mind, you know, I hope this is right. I think most of the big intercontinental missile ones, like his big intercontinental the missiles ones, I don't think those work anymore. I don't think they work. We've seen in Ukraine that they've actually repurposed those missiles to fire conventional loads rather than nuclear ones. The one that does worry me are the smaller ones, rather than the strategic, the big nuclear weapons. I'm talking about the small nuclear weapons, like ones that you can literally fire out of a artillery gun. That's how small we're talking. Um, that I think Putin's got those in spades. That I think he's got those in spades. Yep. This is what we're going over now because I haven't done a video on this, but I think this is something that we need. Yeah, tactical nukes. Yeah. Again, this just refers to the size of the nuclear of the nuclear the payload. Because a like I say a tactical nuke is designed to punch holes in things. Like the Americans had the Davy Crockett. That was a tactical nuke. You know, it was a portable, man operated nuclear missile. You know, in Fallout, where you've got the what is it? What's the big the little boy? Is it the small launcher like that? It's something like that, but just a lot bigger, a lot bigger pack, a lot bigger a lot bigger punch. I'm not sure how many warheads we actually have in Trident. I couldn't exactly say on that one. Yep. Yep, they were using ICBM systems to distract their defenses. And they were digging up substitute weights in either Kherson or Kiev. Yeah. That's it. I mean, if I think they're like long range stuff, the strategic stuff, like the big ICBMs, they've been repurposing that stuff. Like I say, that's not the worry. It's the smaller payload ones. That's what we've got to worry about. That's why I think Putin's still got those, but he hasn't used them yet. But anyway, back to this. So Estonian intelligence also flagged a major change in Russia's army: the formation of the Leningrad and Moscow military districts. Ooh, this is certainly gonna make things very interesting. Is now aimed at NATO member Finland. They also noted that Russia plans to expand its military from 1.15 million to 1.5 million members by 2026 in potential preparation for a conflict with NATO. So it's just all about that manpower. Just get them all in. Get them. In fact, that's something else. If you've seen the videos of Russians going out to protest in Moscow over Alexei Navalny and places around Russia, you will notice it's all women. No men are protesting because they are all terrified that if they get arrested, and I think this backs up from what we've seen, that if you get arrested, you're being sent to the front. And I have to wonder. I'm just genuinely curious. We won't find out about this after till probably this is all over. I have to wonder. Do you think the crime rates dropped in Russia? Like, do you think low level crime rates dropped in Russia because people are being terrified, are that worried about being shipped off to the meat grinder in Ukraine? I think many Russians are, because I'll tell you what, if you look at those photos, you don't see many Russian men. Even the videos, you don't see many men in those photos. It's I- it's it's incredible to see this happen. And remember, a lot of people used to say, "Oh, Russia's a peer to the U.S. military. Russia's a peer." Doesn't appear to be. Never appeared to be by the looks of it. Um, Ukraine has a population of around 40 mil. Russia has announced at least over 150 mil. Russia cannot win at this rate of loss. They would only reach knives and just run out at this state. Yeah, I, I do not see how they can sustain these losses because they've lost more than the US in Iraq and Afghanistan in just this short time. And I think it was by 2025, by the start of next year, given the current loss rate that we seem to be seeing, they are on to lose more men than the Soviets did in Afghanistan in 9 years. That's just the level, I think, of sheer incompetence you are seeing in the Russian state about that. I just don't understand why everyone in Russia doesn't just protest or leave. Well, here's the thing: most people can't leave. Those that can afford to leave have already left. Lots of countries have already closed their borders um, to Russians. And here's the thing: you can't protest in Russia; you'll just get arrested. They will out will come the police, and then you'll get a beating by Mr. Truncheon, and that scared a lot of Russians. Um, yeah, very true. Yeah, what about your family and stuff? Yeah, it's not always possible. Yeah, a lot of people, when it comes to when you look at like the history of revolutions, a lot of people don't initially join the start of revolutions. They wait. The most people take a wait and see attitude. Even the American War of Independence, um, a lot of people stayed out of the fight, and then they neither supported the British nor the Congress, as it was called back then. Um, they took a wait and see and watch attitude. So let's get back to this. So, um, this expansion in manpower, it says, underscores the need for NATO and allied forces to significantly expand their defense capabilities. Rheinmetall CEO Amir Peppergrip previously warned that Europe might need a decade to fully replenish its stockpiles of ammunition. German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius, I think that's how you say it, said in December that Europe must boost its security and defense capabilities to meet the threat that Russia poses. The United States previously reducing its investment on the continent in favor of increased security efforts in the Pacific region. In January, Pistorius warned about the increasingly belligerent Russian President Vladimir Putin. He could attack NATO allies in less than a decade. In that very same month, Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia agreed to form a common Baltic defense zone of their borders with Russia and Belarus. Earlier this month, and bear in mind, that's something I haven't talked about either. The idea that the Latvia, Lithuanian, and Estonian armies are going to form a common defense area. That's something that would be, I think, very good to sort of say, at least in the time being. That will be good for the time being. UK has ammo. Yes, the UK does have ammo, but we're keeping it in. We're keeping it in storage, and of course, there aren't enough ammunition production facilities to be able to produce that ammo. This is why I would argue that if we are talking about defense budgets, 4% is probably needed to rebuild a lot of our capacity. And of course, if we do rebuild that a lot of capacity, that will mean bringing a lot of jobs back to that. Yeah. We're hiding all the ammo in the microfabricant's wig. Oh, if only. If only. Oh, Bakura, good evening, good afternoon. Where are we? So yeah, common defense. Earlier this month, Gregor Vlad, the chief of Romania's general staff, said, I am more convinced that President Putin policy will escalate in the near future, issuing a very stark warning about the state of the nation's army. Moscow has downplayed the warnings of the West, with the foreign minister Sergei Lavrov dismissing fears that Russia won't stop in Ukraine as, quote, absurd. And remember when all the stuff was coming out about oh, Russia's going to invade Ukraine, Russia's going to invade Ukraine, when America was putting out the warning that was going to happen. And Russia's like, we're not going to invade. Don't be silly. That's just a silly notion. That's just silly, America. We would never invade. Oh, but let's have a look at the because this is a useful resource here that we have. So I think people have seen this before. But if you haven't seen this before, this is a live map. This is a really good, useful map where you can see, like, say, what's going on, the areas where Russia currently occupies, and where sort of Ukraine sort of has liberated. Of course, that was the start of the war, the mad dash to Kiev. Of course, we are talking about Adivka, which is, I think, somewhere. There's Bakhmut. Think it is somewhere around here. That might be. Oh no. Kiev. Could be here somewhere. There we are. Here we are. Here we are. There it is. So that's where Russia's advance has recently been. There's Avdiivka. This is the retreat, because as you can see, they were sort of starting to encircle Avdiivka because they couldn't keep them back because of the lack of ammunition. So again, one of the reasons why the aid to Ukraine from the US is so important, and why we also need to start really sort of racking up support to send to them. However, one of the fun thing is that they have done on this. I don't know if you've seen, the Ukrainians in 24 hours have shot down 4 Su-35s, which is Russia's most advanced airplane that they currently have, and each one costing, I think it's 150 million. So I'm sure people can do that, but the Ukrainians were talking about it being a quote a target-rich environment. So, that's very interesting. What's going on in shipping? Well, believe it or not, we can go over to Yemen. Oh, there we go. And you can actually see this at the moment. What's going on here in Yemen? Again, live map, really useful. Really useful live map, really good resource. Tells you what's going on here. This is the newest one. China should now play more of a role in maintaining security of the Red Sea. This, of course, coming off the back of China saying to Iran, telling them to knock it off, because this happening here in the Red Sea is really screwing up China's economy. Really screwing up China's economy at the moment. So China is putting a lot of pressure on Iran, onto the Houthis. You can see the area they control here in red. To say, hey, knock it off. But I think the last time was here 2 days ago. So that is there. So they're still doing it. And of course, 2 days ago, they launched an anti-ship ballistic missile out here. So it's still going on. And as I've said, even if you do get a ceasefire in Palestine, what's the guarantee that the Houthis are going to stop this? You know, what's the guarantee that the Houthis are going to stop this? It's kind of worrying, still ongoing. And it's a bit difficult to say how you would, again, even stop this. Even if you did get the ceasefire, it's very doubtful the Houthis are going to stop this. Very doubtful. Yeah, the Houthis say so. I can't really trust a terrorist organization to say, yeah, we'll stop attacking international shipping, because in a way, this is what they want. Yeah. Very true. Very little what the Houthis doing about Gaza. Yeah, it's more about trying to attract American attention. In a very bizarre way, but there you go. But yeah, that's the current state in Ukraine. Of course, that's the biggest news, of course, about Avdiivka. Hang on, where was it? Here it is. And of course, like I say, it was slowly being encircled. It does seem they were just throwing everything they could at trying to have these really small victories, exactly the same way they took Bakhmut very recently. Just throw everything you possibly can at just one point and hope that it works. However, the big problem then becomes where is it? Where is Kramatorsk? Here we are. This is Kramatorsk. This is sort of a regional capital. Russia doesn't hold any regional capitals anymore, or at least it lost its only one that it had taken during the start of the war, which was down here in Mykolaiv. The Russians pushed them back, but Kramatorsk is an absolute fortress. The losses that they took in Bakhmut will be nothing if they get to the front of Kramatorsk, because that is an absolute fortress. The losses they would sustain trying to take that, if they got that far, is gonna be horrific. And it's not even getting to the city itself. It's between there and there are just miles of defenses. That's a very good point. Why is Iran subsidizing every terrorist organization in the Middle East? That is a very good point. It's probably to do with what they perceive as their view of power. A lot of this and them going back to this, unfortunately, is because of the or Donald Trump, unfortunately, dropping the Iran deal. The Iran deal was the best deal because it removed any need for war. Iran got its money back, and normalization. Things were starting to normalize slowly but surely. Not only that, but progressives. Well, as far as you can call them progressives, but people in the in Iran were like, "Hey, America's not the worst thing ever. We can actually trust Americans. Maybe we can get more stuff taken off if we work together with them, guys. Maybe that would be a good thing." And of course, you've got the other side, which is the hard right. No, America's really bad. They're terrible. Look at how America treats us. Who are like, we've got to do what we can because this area is should be under our sphere of influence. America shouldn't have anything to do with in this region. And it's basically just a power play, and they see this as funding these different terrorist organizations as a way to project power for them. But the problem then becomes is you get things like the Houthis, who, as we've said, what happens? Let's say there's a ceasefire. Are the Houthis going to stop? I don't think they will. I don't think the Houthis will stop at all. And then the question becomes, then what do we do? Because you can't have them continuously attacking these shipping in the Red Sea. It is causing in Europe a very, very large medicine shortage. A very large medicine shortage, which is quite worrying as well. China has a lot of important agricultural products from the US. Did Russia invade Ukraine to guarantee China's access to grain if they invaded Taiwan? Russia's already a very, very large grain producer. A very, very large grain producer. I think they are the largest grain producer in the world. Ukraine is the fifth, and the land that they are trying to take at the moment is sort of part of Ukraine's farmland at the moment. So they would gain a lot of that farmland. That's very true. But I think they've already sort of got that covered. China, like I say, I think you would see a lot of Russia's agriculture output probably switch to China if that happened. Um, I think that would be it. Yep, that's also a good point. This also goes all the way back to the Sunni Shia rivalry, and yeah, who gets to control the Middle East, Saudi Arabia or Iran? Very true. Bakura, did you see the GDB news? Did a poll on Brexit? Yes. Poll behind a paywall, and it did overwhelmingly support rejoin. Yeah, I did see that, Bakura. That was very, very funny. That would be very, very funny. Ukrainian NATO, that wouldn't be an escalation. I don't think so. It wouldn't be, because that would guarantee Ukraine's future security. A big, big reason why they would guarantee their future security. Let's see if we can find that. GB News Brexit. There we are. Here we are. Oh no, hang on. It's behind a paywall. I can't even read the article. Can't even see it. Turn home. Can I see it? No. I can't find it. Hang on. Let's see. Let's see if we can actually get another source for this. Here we are. London Economic. That'll do. Paywall poll descends into chaos. Here it is. Share screen. There we go. Here it is. 53% said yes, 47% said no. Again, GB News geniuses put there, should Britain rejoin the EU poll behind a paywall? Nothing says representative sample, like only asking the people willing to pay for GB News. Fortunately, there are ways around it. And of course, someone put below, is this a case for Ofcom to investigate? Possibly so. Possibly so. It's over 90% yes. Oh. Let's see if we can actually get behind it. Oh, tell you what, here is. Here's the poll. Should Britain rejoin the European Union? Yes. Oh, so that was 93% to 7%. Here it is. Oh dear. Oh dear. Doesn't look like that poll went very well for GB News. Oh. um, yeah, that poll didn't go. Oh, by the way, if you would like to participate in said poll and add your own vote, let me get the link. Oh, there you go. If you click that poll, you too can contribute to that poll. Do foreigners get to vote too? I think you might be able to do by the looks of it, but do let me know. Yep. Mark K, vote early, vote often. Very, very much so indeed. Very, very much so indeed. Doesn't look like they'll be reporting that that anytime soon. Anyway, hold on. I've got to send this. Let me send this to someone. Hold on. There we go. There we go. Hmm. Anyway. Yeah. Can you actually believe Reform UK actually conned some people into actually voting for them? Oh, I can believe that. Very true. Yes, owned by Legatum. Apparently, the Daily Mail has tried to buy GB News. How true that is, I'm not sure. But it was one of the things I read recently, and I think it was this week's Private Eye, or it was the one a couple of weeks ago. It was either the Valentine's Day edition or the one with the traitors parody cover on. I can't remember which one it was. But yes. So we'll see how long he ends up owning that. But he might not end up owning it long. What are we going to look at today? What else can we look at? What else is going on at the moment? Let's have a look. Oh yes, Gaza's largest hospital being attacked by the IDF because why wouldn't you attack um, Gaza's largest hospital? Whoops, say the IDF. Um, I honestly think this is getting to a point now. It's going beyond a joke. They've turned, I think now thoroughly, the world very, very much against them. I don't see how much longer they can even continue this and avoid more international security. And I think it all depends on America, because I think even America is growing increasingly annoyed at them with the stuff that they are doing in Gaza. Mars helicopter? Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! NASA lays off its helicopter into rest in the quote undying lands inspired from Dune. The Mars helicopter still flying. Mars helicopter finally sputters out. See, I've got to have my friend come on. I know someone from Manchester who is his his title his his title is the president of gravity. Like I am not joking. His like official title is the president of gravity. But he's a scientist and he does a lot with UK space stuff. I've got to really have him on at some point because I think that might be a really fascinating comment. Um, well, that would be a really fascinating comment to have if we could get him on at some point. Yeah, sounds heavy. um, sounds a little like a stereotype than an executive one. Um, hey, he travels all over around the UK and the world getting money for UK science. So hey, well, maybe if we can get him on, we'll ask him and we can find out together. But he does a lot of stuff with UK science. I think that will be actually kind of fun to have him on. I have to see if I can get. In fact, oh, I might be seeing him next weekend actually. So if I get a chance, I'll ask him then. Oh, what to talk about at the moment? So, so much stuff, so little time. Shall we have a quick? Let's have a quick trip to Conservative Home. That's always fun. That's always fun. Oh, see what they've got here. Surprisingly, they've been really quiet. And I have to wonder because Conservative Home is really quiet at the moment. It's really strange how Conservative Home's gone very quiet. I think we started this at the beginning. Um, we were talking about, things are very quiet in the Conservative Party, and they've only got this one story about Rochdale, all signal noise, and that was the only thing they put out about the double by-election defeat. Since then, it's been very quiet on here. There's been even nothing being from people like Liz Truss in response to the into the popular Conservatives. Normally, you would see article after article from these guys doing that. Yeah, strange thing. What's this? A while ago, you found out that one of the Conservative Home founders went to the same went to school in the same German town in the 80s as you. Oh, weird random bit of trivia. Oh, Patrick H, are they preparing? I don't think they're preparing. I think they're holding on to their copium for the day after election because, oh boy, oh boy, is that going to be fun? Quote: "All signal isn't staple content in the Conservative Home." What? It's on their wiki page? No. No. Really? I've got to look this up. I've got to look this up now. Hang on. How do you spell this? G weird U T E. Oh. T E. R S. R S. Ah, there it is. Town in Germany. Sorry, I'm just gonna. I'm just so interested in this. Sorry, we're going on a really bizarre political tangent now. Thank the phone box chicken. Let's take a look at this. The mayor, city council, major industries. Well, recreational amenities. Regular events. Foosball. There's an RAF base. You know, notable people. I wonder if it's here. No. Carl Benjamin. Oh no, Carl Bertishman. Sorry, not Benjamin. Chicago businessman, surgeon. Oh, that's interesting. Herbert Schufer, born 1915, survivor of the atomic bomb Little Boy in Hiroshima. Didn't know that. Politician. Miscellaneous. I can't find it. Can't find it. Oh. What are we looking for? Well, Phonebox Chicken said that there was apparently one of the people from Conservative Home went to school in his German town. That's it. Yes, that's who we were looking for. Johnny K. Montgomery, educated at King's School, secondary school in Güteschl. I'm not even going to pronounce that. A town in Germany, run by the Service Children's Education for Children of Military Personnel. Tim Montgomery is Wikipedia. I see. So yes, you were right, Phonebox Chicken. that indeed was the case. Yeah, interesting small world. Still think the next general election will be around May. Given the fact what you've seen a couple of Tories so recently, the potential of the general election may happen in May. To quote, stem the tide. In fact, let's have a look at this. UK 2024 election. Because I'm pretty sure there was something somewhere recently about that I saw, but I can't remember who had it. But they were saying possibly May, especially given the light of the by-election defeats that they just had. But we'll see. Like I say, we'll see what happens. It's not going to be in November or probably October. I can tell you that, because they don't want to clash with the US presidential election. So it's still very much up in the air when the next general election is going to be. It's coming. It's around the corner. We just don't know when it's going to be. Can only hope it's, well, sooner rather than later. That's the case indeed. Yeah, I think May Phil has sources who say that the Con office is going completely nuts at the moment. A campaign manager is always in with Rishi. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. I know that you've got a full staff now. That happened very recently, so that's an indicator things are going to get moving soon. Um, if Sunak made an announcement tomorrow, how soon could it be? To be honest, you've got to have. I think is it 6 weeks? Is it 6 weeks campaigning time you've got to give? So the last possible date they could hold it is no later than the 28th of January. So that means Parliament could be dissolved no later than the 17th. Boundary reviews, legal requirement. So the colonial election within 25 days, working notice. We've still obviously, the second half in 2024, if you believe Sunak, but I think these two by-election defeats will have probably changed things. I think that will have changed things significantly. That's true as well. You may also have to think the bills that are currently in Parliament, which have also been resolved in the wash-up. So many things could just go. Here we are, 45 days. Here we are. Donkey, 45 days. What's this? What's the reasoning on the USA election time not wanted by the Tories? They don't want to clash. Like November is just completely out. They don't want to clash. You also probably want to have an answer, because if you are running a general election, you've got to potentially have an answer. What if Trump wins? And all that craziness and stuff that could happen with him winning. You've got to have an answer. So they don't want that at all. They don't want that at all. I think it was Johnson or May. It was Johnson. Yeah, those rules were binned in 2022. Yep. What if Trump wins is not a question that invites rational planning? Well, this time we can't have an excuse we weren't prepared, as was the case in 2016. That can't be the case this time, especially with the rhetoric that Trump's pumped out. That the idea that he's pumped out a lot of this rhetoric, that's that's worrying on a lot of levels. As I've said, November's a long time to wait. January 2025 then. The election must be held by January the 28th, 2025 at the very latest. This is because the fixed term Parliamax 2011 will it repealed, but the 5-year timeline remains. Yeah, we know that's the possible last date, but it's still We still don't know. Um, like I say, and I generally do hope he loses, but I will repeat this every single time. The 2020 election was the highest turnout in US presidential history, um, both for Democrats and Republicans as well. And I think it will come down to turnout, and it will be whichever party can not only get their voters out the most, and the Republicans, that's something the Republicans are very good at. You can't underestimate that. But also, which way do these independents go? And I think it's going to be independents, their turnout, that decides it. Because the more independents show up, they're not going to vote for Trump. Like, as we already said very early in the stream, I can't remember who said it. I think it might be Prinny Bird. Do forgive me if I got that wrong, or it might be Blue Badger. So it was one of you two. I can't remember which one who said it now. Right at the beginning of the stream, if the independents are sort of scared away, then they're not going to vote for Trump. But then the worry is you've also seen a lot of people, Biden, I don't know, disengagement, which is quite worrying as well, because you look at the current polls and it's bit iffy, unfortunately, and you don't want that. You do not want that. All honesty, if Trump wins North America, it needs to be disregarded in global plans. Sorry, Canada. What's wrong with Canada? I mean, poor Canada. Poor Canada. Oh, yep, exactly. That's super worrying, because that undermines the very deterrent threat that NATO represents. That's yeah, it's very worrying. But yes, we've been going for a fair bit. So yes, hope you've enjoyed that. I'm going to try and do more of these casual sort of streams. Every so often, I'll try, and because I did say at the start of the year I did want to do more streamings. I also said I was going to do more shorts as well, but I haven't done that either. So watch out for for more streams every so often. I probably won't have a regular schedule for some of these streams. Obviously, we'll keep on doing the Good Morning Walk every Saturday morning as always. But as always, thank you very much everyone for joining me this evening. It's been nice and casual. I think that's been quite fun. So yeah, thank you for joining me this evening. And of course, as always, we'll see you all next time. And don't forget to click the like button on your way out. And we'll see you all very soon.